So in this class, we will take up two things. One, we want to correlate. We want a correlation between transfer function and state space. Okay. And second thing we will introduce is to that mathematical modeling of electrical systems. So far we have talked only about mechanical system. And in this lecture we will talk mathematical modeling of electrical systems as well. Okay, let's first we want to seek let's talk about that we want to seek the correlation between if at all between transfer function, that is the GS, that is output by input, and between state space. We can actually correlate by taking Laplace transformation of state space equation. Okay, so we will take Laplace transform of x dot. We apply a Laplace transform both the sides. Okay. The Laplace transform of x dot. So x dot is the differentiation with respect to time. So Laplace transform of x dot, we have already seen, we have written in the form of sxs. This is the Laplace transformed variable times x plus x of 0 minus. So also stating that the initial conditions are set to be 0. So this I can take it as s of xs is equal to a of xs plus b of u of s. So u can also be transformed. So this is currently as u of t, but while taking u may expect that it has been transformed to some us, which is capital US, and which is nothing but this input. Okay, now what we'll do is we can bring this guy in the left side, and we can write s of x s minus a of x s is equal to b of capital U s. Okay, this I can write comfortably since this is so you are doing things in matrix way. Okay, so that is why you should, so s minus so s is a scalar, so we need to write this in matrix form. So s times I is the identity matrix, minus of a bracket x of s is equal to b of us. I can comfortably write, since x a is a matrix, so there is no need to write an identity here, but since this is a scalar, so we need to multiply it with an identity matrix, where identity matrix is written, if we at all we are writing 3 cross 3, so it should be written this way. Okay, so now here, so you have access, so this is your input and this is your state, but you want things to be in ys. What we will do is we will take up this measurement equation also, and let's take that. So y is equal to c of x. So this is the standard state space equation I'm writing, cx plus du. Okay, apply Laplace transformation both the sides. So L of y is equal to L of cx plus Laplace of du. Okay, all in time variables. Now it will be transformed to capital Ys transformed variable is equal to c times capital Xs plus d times u of s. Okay. What I will do is here is I'll do one more modification over here. So x of s I want to write exclusively so that I can replace this xs with this guy over here. So I can take an inverse of this guy, and I can write comfortably si minus a inverse times b. These are matrices. This is matrix, this is matrix, this is matrix, this is scalar times u of s. Okay, now I can substitute this xs over here, and I can write y of s is equal to c times, this is capital C, this is also matrix, c times si minus a inverse times b. Okay, and us and us are common, so I can take that thing outside times u of s. Now I can write my ys by us. So ys by us is nothing but your g of s. You can write as c times si minus a inverse times b plus d. So now whenever you are given with these matrices, the system matrix, state space system matrix, b input matrix, if at all you know the state space, you can actually find the transfer function easily, isn't it? This can be written by this formula, and this in MATLAB you just have to multiply your C matrix, your measurement output matrix, to S times I minus A inverse multiplied by B plus D. You have to do, and you get the usual transfer function. So you can switch back here and there on your comfort. Okay, this is what it is written over here. Okay. So in tutorial session, I also will take in maybe in the next, or maybe Yogesh will tell you in MATLAB or in Scilab how to get the transfer function if at all your state space is given. Okay. Okay, now let's move into the mathematical modeling of electrical systems. Before writing the mathematical modeling of doing the mathematical modeling for electrical systems, we should know few of the governing laws that governs electrical systems. The governing laws. Okay. Analogously, in mechanical system, we have seen that the governing laws there in mechanical systems are Newton's laws. Newton's laws or Hooke's law, F is equal to kx, or F is equal to ma, all those sorts of things, right? But here in electrical systems, you have electrical circuits. Okay, you have capacitors, you may have resistances, inductance. Okay, you have cells, batteries, power source. So those electrical systems are governed by something called Kirchhoff's laws. Kirchhoff's laws. Okay, so there are two sets of Kirchhoff's law. One is current law, and another is voltage law. Okay, the Kirchhoff's current law states that the algebraic sum of all currents entering and leaving to a node is 0. What does it mean is, let's suppose you have a junction. I audible clearly? I mean, any disturbance so far?
Yes, you're audible, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's suppose you have a junction and two wires are connected and the current was flowing through it, and the junction after that you went across like this. So if at all, if the current flowing here is I1 and if current flowing here is I2, and here current flowing is I3 and here current flowing is I4, so what it is does it mean is all currents entering. So you should write I1 plus I2 must be equal to or minus, or this must be equal to I3 plus I4. That's all you know. Okay, that's far more you can know about it. This is the same thing here. I1, I2 and I3 currents are coming into the node, and the currents out that are coming out of the node was I5 and I4. So you have to subtract I1 plus I2 plus I3 from I1 plus I2 plus I3 to these guys I5 and I4, and that relates your current segmentation or breakage, you can so to say. Okay, second law that governs is Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, and that states that at any given instant the algebraic sum of voltages around any loop and an electrical circuit is zero. Okay. What does it mean is, let's suppose I have a voltage source. So voltage source are often uh, depicted as plus or minus, it has some voltage. Let's suppose I have 5-volt battery. Okay, and it is connected to an a resistance. Okay, some resistance, and this loop goes and it has resistance R. Okay, so the current will start flowing, okay, from higher voltage to lower voltage. So the I will be flown in this particular circuit in this way, and you should write the Kirchhoff's voltage law in particular way, so that while making the loop, okay, everything, all the summation of all the voltages across all the components goes to 0. Okay, this is how we should write. Okay, we start from, let's suppose I start from 1, I go to 2, this is your 3 and this is your 4. Okay, notes. So there are no uh, junctions as such, like here depicted over here. Okay, this is one loop. I mean, in complicated cases you may expect things to be noded, but here, just for the simplicity of stating the Kirchhoff's voltage law, I'm writing this. Okay, so while going from 1 to 2, you have a voltage jump. We have a voltage jump. So what you will do is you will write voltage jump positive. Okay, when you are going, so there are no voltage loss or jump. Okay, now you come to 3. Now 3 to 4, you come across a resistance. So resistance, what it does, it creates a resistance. So it actually your voltage, you may lose, voltage will be lost, voltage lost, and voltage lost will be proportional to the resistance that it has. Okay, so voltage loss is proportional to R. So voltage is proportional to R, the resistance. So that is why the proportionality contains. I'm really sorry. So voltage is not proportional to R. Voltage is proportional to the current, and then R you take as a R as a constant, and IR you should write IR. But we know that voltage will be lost across the resistances. That is what it is meant for. So lost resistance, I can write I minus I times R, or you should write minus of V through resistance, and there are no other things. You reach 1, so it should be equal to 0. So your V minus of I times R must be equal to 0, and then you should write V is equal to IR. That is the governing equation that you should write in an electrical circuit. This is how it is written. So two things you have to keep in mind: either you have a node or you have a voltage loop. Okay. So let me quickly go through one more example. So let's suppose you have a voltage V1, you have a battery, and you have some resistance R1 over here. You have another resistance. You have another resistance R2, and you have a branch, and you have another resistance R3. Okay, and now on this is this is like this. Let's suppose I want to uh, get to know what are the currents that are flowing in each of the circuits. So you start from 1, you start to go to 2, okay, 3 maybe. Okay. So there is a voltage, so you take a loop like this, and you take a loop like this. Okay. You want to go in 2 loops, there are 2 loops, so 2 individual equations I will write. And let's suppose the current I1 is flowing in this circuit and current I2 is flowing in this circuit. Okay, in the circuit from here. Okay, so in the first circuit, I will write voltage jump is there, so V1 I will write, then voltage loss will is there, so I1 times R1 I will write. Okay, this guy over here, and then I don't know what is the current that is flowing in this segment. What I'll do is, so I1 was flowing till here and I2 was flowing till here. So what is the current that is flowing in this segment? So that segment
I1 minus I2.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is I1 minus of I2. Thank you. Thank you, Om. So for the second circuit, if I write, so this would be plus I1 minus I2 times R3 is equal to 0. So this is your first circuit equation. If you want to write the second circuit equation, so whatever the voltage loss here, let me go through it. So this is the voltage loss I2 R2. Okay, and this would be, you are going from down to bottom here, but your current is flowing here, so you should write minus of I1 minus I2 R3 is equal to 0. This is how you should write the things in complicated circuits. So only two things you have to remember: you have to apply Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, there are no voltages over here, so that is why I didn't write any voltages. So it will be closed. It is a closed loop, so it just goes to 0. The algebraic sum goes to 0. Fine. Okay, now the things may also be complicated. So this time you only have R, but the thing you may come across that not only R is the electrical component, you may have the inductors as well. L is the inductance. You may have capacitance in it. Okay, you have resistor, you may have inductors, and you may have capacitors. So what are the uses of these things? So it serves very many purpose. Okay. So you may have complicated LRC circuit, inductance, resistance, and capacitance circuit. All the things you may come across in one circuit. But the governing equation, the key thing is you need to write the governing equation. The resistor is an electrical component that implements electrical resistance. Voltage is proportional to the current applied. So just from here to here, the voltage drop I will write as V through resistor is equal to I times R. That's it. Okay. So V is equal to IR. I will write. But in inductor is something else, some other component, some other so what it does, it stores energy in magnetic field when electrical current flows through it. Okay, and here the voltage is proportional to the change in current with time. So the voltage here was change in current, so di by dt. This is how the voltage across the inductor is written. So the voltage across this Li, VL, is proportional to di by dt, means the change in current. As long as the change in current is happening, you will see the voltages, you see that the voltage is lost there. If at all di by dt is 0, your voltage will no longer be lost. So this is how. So in old days, your radio, microwaves, and all sorts of complicated circuits, you may come across these L, R, and C's, combination of these things. But we will not be, since this is not an electrical course, we will not be going into the details. We just will, what we take a usual circuit, a standard circuit. How does it look like? And we want to form a governing equation out of it. And lastly, this governing equation will be written in terms of state space. That is what our aim is in this particular control engineering course, state space. Okay, that is what our goal would be. Similarly, the capacitor is a device that stores electrical energy in electrical field. Okay, and you see that you have a parallel plates over here, capacitors. You will have a positive charge. So in a sense that the voltage here, essentially the charges, the ideology, the philosophy of capacitor is quite different. Here the charges are proportional to the voltage, and the capacitance is multiplied to it. So Q is equal to CV is the governing equation for the capacitance. But I want to write things in current manner. Okay, so that is why this Q is equal to CV. So I want to write my voltage. So voltage I can write Q by C. Okay, so Q also I can write I times dt integration with time. So this is how the voltage across capacitance is usually written, IDT. So see the differences. Voltage across capacitance is the integration of IDT divided by C. Voltage across inductor is L times di by dt. It is the slope of the change in current. Okay, this is, you should remember, and this is usual V is equal to IR. So these three formulas will be quite useful in all these courses, in this particular, at least in this particular chapter. Okay, so now we know that what is the voltage loss across these components, inductors, capacitors, and uh, the resistances. Now we are in a shape to write the governing equation for this particular circuit. So let's suppose I am applying, so suppose, let's suppose this is your circuit. I am giving input, so Vi, let's suppose I am giving an input. So I already put a battery over here whose voltage is Vi, V inlet. Okay, I've given inlet voltage to this loop as V inlet, and I want to see as an output what is the voltage across this capacitor. That is, sometimes we need it. Let's suppose V out. Okay, and this output by input, so V out in Laplace domain by V in Laplace domain is nothing but the transfer function of this thing. Okay, this is what I want to evaluate from this particular circuit. So let's go one by one. So I am going in this fashion. Okay, I'm looping around this fashion. So there is only one loop. So there is a voltage jump because of Vi. So I will write Vi. Okay, then there is a voltage loss across this L, by supposing that my I was time dependent, my current was time dependent, and it has some slope. I mean, it is maybe decreasing or increasing. It was not constant. Okay, for the time being. So I have lost my voltage like L di by dt manner. Okay, then I am going to again lose my voltage as I times R manner. Okay, I'm again losing my voltage across this capacitance as minus, somebody tell, 1 upon C integration of I dt, and then loop is closed. Okay, this is your governing equation. That's it. Okay, now this governing equation, so this mathematical modeling of electrical system is ready. So like our mathematical modeling of this was, isn't it? Is it ready? Mechanical system, just by writing F is equal to my double dot plus cy dot plus ky. This was your mechanical system, some spring mass damper system, and we want to devise a state space equation, and we have already devised the state space equation as this one, isn't it? Very beautifully. An output equation I have also seen. Similar fashion, I also want to evaluate my state space from here. Okay, so this is your mathematical model. What should I do? Let's keep this aside. Okay, let me write it here. New slide. So I have V in minus L di by dt plus minus I times R. Okay, and also minus 1 upon C I dt, isn't it? This is 0. This was your governing equation. And actually, what is your output equation? Output equation is nothing but, we can directly write here, what is your output equation? Output equation is the voltage across this C, isn't it? I'm making a radio. Let's suppose I was making some radio. Okay, I want to tune. Essentially what these radio circuits are, you are going to tune your C capacitance and the inductance in certain fashion so that it should resonate in some frequency. That is how your radio works. So while designing a new radio, what I want to do is I want to make a design. Basically, I want to make a design. So what I will want to do is, what is the voltage I am getting across this capacitance that I need it. Okay, for my designing purpose, I may design some other radio, some fancy radio. Okay, so that is why my output equation is V out is what that is, what is your V out? That's it, 1 upon C I dt. This I want to see as my output. Okay, and this was your input. So what I will do, I will take a Laplace transform in all these equations. While taking Laplace transformation, we have what we have, V, capital V in Laplace domain, isn't it? Minus L times, what is this? This is the differentiation of I. Okay, differentiation of I means S times I of S with initial condition 0. I can write this away, minus I times, sorry, not I, times R times I, capital I of S. So I t, when transformed, it will be written I of S in Laplace domain. Okay, all functions can be invariably written in Laplace transform variables just by writing the operator, putting the operator over here. Minus 1 upon C. So this is the integration thing. So we need to go to the appendix section and we have to see what this, because I mean, since beginning I'm doing this, but I have come across this integration thing first time. So let me go back and write and see what my integration would look like if at all I have it in the appendix. Okay, here. So yes, we have it. So this is the integration of the function whose Laplace transform is taken, and it came out to be fs by s, and this is the initial condition, so this may goes to 0. So fs by s I can comfortably write. So I may write this as fs. What is fs? So I of s divided by s, and this equal to 0. Got it? So I can write v in Laplace transform is everything. I put it in right hand side. L of s of is minus, sorry, plus ir of is plus 1 upon cs is. Okay, so this is your input, and what is your output? And I am again going to put a Laplace transform over here as well. Okay, so v out, s in Laplace transform is what is this? I of s by c, right? S also will be there, right? Now what I will do, I will output by input, that is my transfer function. So v out s by v in s. Okay, I have all the information. See, that is the beauty of doing things. Every circuit or every physical system can be written in terms of this single thing, and it actually relates all your information of input and output of the system. So system behavior will be accurately captured by this transfer function. Okay, how this system behaves with input, and how, if I'm giving some input, what output I'm getting. So you are actually characterizing your system in some input and output sense. So v out is equal to, v out is is upon cs divided by lsis plus r of is plus I of s divided by c of s. Okay, any manipulation I can do? The cs multiply, I can multiply cs, and is also I will be striking out from everywhere. Okay, and cs I will also be writing. So I can write finally 1 upon lc s square. Okay, so this is your coefficient lc plus rc s. This is your coefficient of second. This is the second order coefficient, first order coefficient, plus 1. Yep, this is your transfer function. Now, well, while designing my radio, I don't want any circuits. Okay, I don't want any circuits. I just can play around with this, and I can do my design, new radio, just by tweaking LC here from here, and I can have the responses. Okay, how when I'm tweaking my capacitance from 1 microfarad to 2 microfarad, how my radio responds, or maybe I have better voice that is coming out of the radio or not. I can do all sorts of things. It's just a context. You can take any sort of electrical circuit. Okay, what is the time? So we have still 5 minutes left. So you can go across and have some complicated electrical circuits as well, and you can actually in fact find the transfer functions for several inputs and outputs. Okay, I may ask in these sort of questions in examination. Okay, one more complex mechanical system. Let's switch to mechanical system again. Some complex mechanical system, so in which you have two masses m1 and m2 connected with spring and damper, and now you are giving a force response ut for second mass. Okay, and now you want to seek what is your transfer function with respect to y1, and also there is another transfer function with respect to y1 and y2. Okay, so you may expect, I may ask you the transfer function g1s. Get me the g1s as output as y1 or y1s divided by u of s, and one more transfer function is included in this conjugate system. You can say it's essentially second order, or you can say second order, not second order, you can say coupled second order. Okay, now things are complex. Okay, so if you have only spring and damper and you have only one mass, so you have usual mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to u. But here things are complex, so I will give this as homework, and this kind of questions I may ask in exam. Okay, you do it. If you don't able to do it, I'll derive this in the next class. So G2S can be, I can ask you, give me G2S, the transfer function, as output as my, I want to see the displacement of this particular guy, not this guy this time, divided by UFS. So there are two transfer functions that are I may ask. Okay, and this sort of question, coupled physical system may have multiple transfer functions depending upon your need, right? So yeah, that's it for today's class. So I think we have no time. Fine. Any question so far? Any question? No.
No, sir.
Okay, then anything you want to ask, or any other thing you want to discuss